everyone. I don't know what week this is, but happy whatever week it is of this journey. And all right, so I've been kind of procrastinating on doing this vlog, and because the truth is, for the last week and a half, I've been pretty depressed. It's not something I talk about too much, although I don't really have an issue talking about it, but I am prone to depression. Last time I had a really major episode was when in college, which led to me taking time off from school. And I've managed it for the last 10 years just by, having structure and routine and working out has helped a ton. Meditation has helped a ton, and that's been a more recent, last 4 or 5 years habit. And I do a lot of gratitude journaling and all, introspective practices and stuff, but it still hits you sometimes. And I think now that I reflect on it, it was kind of inevitable given the nature of what I'm doing and the nature of the times we're in, right? I went from being in a workplace and seeing people every day to a more isolated job, went from having the freedom to do whatever I want with my free time to just being in a more isolated world where you're meeting fewer people and stuff. So yeah, it got pretty dark for the last week and a half. I don't really let it show up on stream, so it's not really something you would know just by looking at me. And I think that's the case for a lot of people who deal with depression. And it's been super frustrating. I think the thing that's characterized it is frustration most of all. Because, I do all this work to, every morning, I read and I gratitude journal and I meditate and I work out, and then you still feel like shit. You still just feel super negative. And for those people who I guess don't deal with clinical depression, the way I describe it, at least for me, is it's sort of like looking through a foggy window. No matter what's on the other side, things still look worse than they are. Even if rationally I know, it's not bad. So, yeah, it's been rough. It's been a rough week and a half. I am happy to say I'm coming out, I'm on an upswing relative to where I was, so that's good. And rather than just dwelling on it, I saw my therapist. I actually didn't really think to myself, oh, I'm depressed again. It was actually talking to my therapist. He helped me identify that. And I decided, okay, well, I think this is not the time to be dealing with this, right? I'm trying to do this thing that's pretty difficult. So scheduled a trip with a psychiatrist. We'll see if that helps, because I've never tried medicine for it. I think I've always had hang-ups about it, even though I don't really think there's good reason now that I think about it more. So that's something I'm going to be trying to sort of get myself in a consistently good place. And this is not like a cry for help or anything. I'm doing fine. I'm managing it. It sucks, but I am managing it. And I think over the last 10 years, when it was in college, it was really bad. Suicidal episode. And there are still those thoughts. For me, I have a pretty overactive mind to begin with, and there are a lot of negative, depressive, suicidal thoughts that just happen. But I think I've learned over the last 10 years through my mindfulness practices and stuff like that to not identify with these thoughts as much. It's still hard, but it's not nearly as bad as the lows that I had 10 years ago. So yeah, we're getting through it, and I think that for me, the mark that I'm managing it well is I'm still doing the things I need to in a day. I'm still productive, still streaming, still focusing on the game. In fact, I had my best day of play in months today, which is cool. And I had 2 really good days of streaming this week where I just felt good in the moment on stream, which was surprising to me. And I had good viewership on stream. I think actually switching the hours that I stream helps a lot, because it frees up the rest of the day to do stuff. When I'm streaming at the end of the day, it kind of even though I actually like streaming most days, it just makes it this looming thing that I have to do, and I'm just more tired and more easily cranky and frustrated. So I think switching up the schedule has helped a lot. And it's something that I planned on only doing until set 4, but I mean, if the viewership is higher and it's better for my life, it's going to be a win-win. So we'll see if this maintains. So sorry for these of you who watch me in the evening. But yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I think I've been pretty lucky in my life overall. I came from, a good upbringing. My parents, both really care about me. There's some stuff like, everyone's family has their issues, but overall I've been pretty fortunate. Grew up middle to upper middle class, never had to worry about where a meal's coming from, never had significant trauma in my life. So the fact that I deal with depression, I consider is like, as far as a dice roll goes, or I don't know, what analogy am I looking for? As far as the hand being dealt goes, it's a pretty decent hand. Everyone has things that they deal with. So, obviously it sucks and it's something I'm working on. I really want to eliminate it from my life because I think it's held me back. Both depression and anxiety, they just mutually reinforce each other. Anxiety is something I've dealt with a lot and I've worked to manage and I've gotten way better at. But yeah, it's just frustrating, I remember when I was, before this journey, I had a talk with one of my friends and she asked me, hey, what's like the predominant emotion that you feel? And I actually told her frustration, in my life. And not at any particular thing, but it's just the emotion that I feel most strongly. And I think it's from feeling trapped in my head a lot, and not feeling like I'm fully enjoying life sometimes. This feeling like there's something in between me and being fully happy and present. And people, when you talk about these things, they tell you, obviously well-meaning, these platitudes about like focus on the positives, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the thing I've realized about depression, at least for me, is that it's just, outside of like therapy and like sustained work with a professional over many sessions and hours, it's just not really something where you just focus on another thing and it goes away. And I think I haven't treated it like the medical and neurological issue that it is, and I think this is a good wake-up call to start doing that. So yeah, I'm working on it. I consider it all part of the journey of growing. Just like in college, I was actually happy that I dealt with that major depressive episode in college rather than like immediately after school or something, because it was the first time I even knew this about myself. I'm glad I'm dealing with this now, because I think in a sense this journey has forced me to confront it, and it'll be an experience I grow from, right? And I'd like to believe I'll cure myself, but I don't know if that's a pipe dream. I don't know how modern medicine is in regards to this, but I think I will definitely come out more equipped to deal with it, and I've learned more about myself and learned more about the things that I need to not get into a negative headspace. So Uzi's been a godsend, for sure, over this entire journey, but particularly in the last week and a half. And sorry if I've been ever irritable or grumpy with you. Definitely have been. Especially when he's barking. Oh my God, he drives me crazy when he's barking. So I'm super, super, super fortunate to have him, and people who I know are rooting for me, even when my mind tells me no one cares. It's just crazy the thoughts that go through your head. It even feels crazy to say no one cares when there's like, you guys are watching this, right? There are people who, I talk to all the time who are like, reaching out, checking in, unsolicited, and I'm not very good at doing the same. And that's something I'm working at, because I don't really come from a background where I like had a super close-knit family, so I'm not particularly good at maintaining relationships. So I appreciate that I have people in my life who are who are good at that, and have chosen to use that, channel that skill and their goodwill toward me. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. Overall, I'm doing okay, managing it, and I'm taking action to help treat it. So yeah, good news is, last week was actually a really good week. It was weird. It was actually an exceptionally good week. For me, when I look at the things that actually happened, it was an exceptionally good week. I commentated the TFT North American Championship. It was really fun, and I think I did a pretty good job. And then another thing happened, which I'm going to make a surprise for later when I can tell you more. It's not related to TFT, but it's something cool that's happened to me in my life that I just want to share with you guys once I can. So yeah, it was actually an abnormally good week in terms of things that happened, and the chasm between like the quality of things that were happening and my mood was massive, right? And that's just how depression is, right? Like, it's not really a matter of what's objectively happening. It's just your brain just goes to places. So Yeah, it was really weird, like knowing rationally, wait, this is stuff that like this is like super awesome stuff to get excited about. But yeah, I wasn't really enjoying it. Yeah, today and is a new day, is a new hour, a new second, new minute. So I'm trying to focus on the future, focus on not dwelling on this, and getting where I need to be. So. This is, I think this was a longer one. I can't see the timer, so I have no idea if this is a longer one. But thanks for watching to the end if you did. We're just going to keep going, keep plugging away, keep making guides, keep streaming, keep making content. Practice has been higher quality. I think, actually just now, the patch 10.17 came out prematurely, I guess, or I'm not sure what the plan was. And for once, instead of jumping straight onto my main and playing, I jumped onto my Smurf and played. And I actually went through the leaderboards and looked to see if anyone has an early read on the patch and is climbing. So shout out again to Bryce for telling me to do that. I know you've told me several times I should be doing this, and then finally internalizing it, and didn't just piss away all my LP gains for the day. So that's good. Yeah, hopefully for set 4, I'm gonna apply everything I learned in set 3 and have a much more successful set 4, competitively speaking. So, thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow streaming, continuing to do all this content, continuing to do these vlogs. Appreciate you guys supporting me. Love you all. Good night.